And today I'd like to present our product CyberEdge, and I'd like to tell you something about the risk which can be insured by our product. Usually I'm starting these presentations with the basics. What are the risks? What is the cyber risk? What are exposure? But we heard a lot of examples in presentations before, so we are all aware about this risk, about the crime attacks, about these examples. So I split base forms of the cyber risk into the 4 categories, and I would start with the most, let's say, dangerous one, the critical one. It's a situation where we are talking about cyber crime or cyber terrorism. It's a crime. It's a situation where somebody in purpose attack your IT system, your computers, to make some damage to you, to delete your data, to store something for you, or just to shut down your IT system, to make your business interruption, to network interruption to yourself. Second one, the most common, we're talking about losing the data. These are examples where you are lose or disclose without authorization of the owner of the data. So the data just go out of your IT systems. Third one is a situation where you're losing the hardware or hard copy of documents which contains this sensitive data on sensitive information. And still, there can be another consequential loss claim from the owner of that information. And number 4, we're talking about online risk. It's a situation where the data are still in your computers. They are not deleted. They are not damaged or nobody stole it. But your client, the owner of that information, the data, they have no access to this information. They are unable to get into it's most typical talking about the clouding, to that cloud, for example, and to work with their own informations and data. Sorry. So what are the most common risks for the companies, for the corporate data? These are the most critical risks according to statistics. I think a lot of them we already heard before. Number 1 on the top, there are outdated hardware and software. There are still a lot of companies which are not investing appropriate money and appropriate value to the latest software and hardware. So this leads to the easy situation for hackers to attack these information systems, these ITs, and make some damage to you. Number 2, which actually surprised me when I prepared this presentation, it's a disloyal employees. What it shows. So you can have the best IT system in the world, the best IT solution, but you cannot check on 100%, and you cannot rely to your employees on 100%. If somebody would like, they can easily steal any information, any data from your computers. They can send it via email, scan it, copy it, whatever. Number 3, there are examples of losing or theft of the hardware. It means if somebody just steals your computer, your laptop, BlackBerry, or you just lose it in a subway, in a car, whatever. Our product not covering these laptops. We are covering the loss, the consequential loss with the information and data which was stolen or disclosed by losing or stealing this hardware. In the next slide, I would like to show you some kind of example what can happen and what are the consequences if the data are disclosed, or just loose. So let's say that there are some disclosing or losing of the information of data. At first, you have to define what kind of data. Was it personal information to some individuals, credit card numbers, social numbers, whatever, or was it corporate data? Corporate business secrets, business information, patent. Second, where the data were from, where was the mistake in the system, where's the hole in your IT. And this leads to another step. The first impact was impact and also financial impact on your own company, on IT management, because you have to find the hole, you have to try to recover the data, recover the system, turn it on, and try to find solution how to stop of continuing the losing this information, these data. The next steps usually are the reputation. You lose your reputation. You're losing the PR, the good name of your company. And it's very often this cost of the rebuilding the reputation is sometimes much bigger than the base loss of just this information. And finally, the financial impact. Financial loss. It's a situation where your clients claim you against you. They want some financial damage against you because you lose or you disclose their own data, which you are responsible to take a protection. And also you can suffer fines or penalties from your regulatory, from your own authority in your country, because you were not able to protect the data. So you can see there is let's say, the domino effect of just a simple situation where some data just go out from your company without authorization of your client. What we can do for you? CyberEdge is still quite a new product on the market, and we split this product into the two sections. First section, it's a base coverage. It contains in each policy. And second one, it's something what you can buy extra if you want to, if you need it to. I will touch just briefly this base coverage and all the points. Section A, it's a base of this product. It's a data liability. This is the third-party coverage. It's covering losses from the third-party data which are stored in your IT system, in your computers, in your servers. We're talking about the situation where the data are loose, disclosed, or damaged, delete, or also about the situation where you still have data, but your client, they don't have an access to go and work with his data. That's an example of the cloud computing, for example. Second one, this is your own loss. It's a fine and penalties. It's fine and penalties from your own regulatory act, from your authorities in your country. Because even in situation where you are disclosing any information of your clients, and clients will not claim you, will not sue you, you can still suffer these fines from your regulatory. For example, in Slovakia, it's a mandatory according to law. If anything happened to data, to third-party data, you must be given to you some kind of fines. In Czech Republic, we will have a new cyber law from the beginning of the next year, which should reflect also the EU some kind of regulation and director. Yes, sir, thank you. And it also there is a rule how you have to protect the data, and also there is a increasing of the fines of this information and these examples of losses. Just for example, there is a huge fine from the UK regulatory. Maybe you remember it was very mediatized losses when Sony, PlayStation, there was a breach to the players' accounts and a lot of data was disclosed. So Sony fined 250,000 UK pounds just because of that, and there was no claim against the Sony from the players. It shows that these fines and penalties are definitely not low, and we can expect that these fines will be even higher. A third part are cost of professional services. These are the situation when we are covering your own loss, your own financial loss, if something happened. This product can cover the PR cost, recovery cost, talking about IT, forensic experts, IT providers which can help you to rebuild the system, notifications cost, if you have to notify all the clients what happened, to change the password, to recover the data, etc. So Section A, it's a third-party loss, claims against you from your client. Section B and C, it's a first-party loss, it's your own financial loss Now there are optional extensions. What you can buy an extra. Point D, multimedia liability, is a situation when you are using some information in the media and you can cause to your client, you can breach the copyright of his own patent rights, and you can cause some kind of slander to your client. E, it's a privacy extortion, but talking about example about a blackmail. If somebody, let's say, call you or drop you an email that they will shut it off your IT system if you don't pay some kind of money. And point F, that's the most interesting. We're talking about network interruption. It's a business interruption. It's a situation where, according to breach of your IT security system, you are not able to provide your service. Your servers, your IT system, computers are just shut it down. So you cannot do your daily business, and you have your own financial loss because you cannot provide your service. What's the coverage? Of course, we're talking about cyber, about there are it's a worldwide coverage. You can not stop in just your country. The hackers could be from anywhere. This product cover the company, the insurer, and of course all the subsidiaries, because a lot of companies have some subsidiary which can provide the services for them, which can storage the data for them. So it needs to be insured as a whole, as a package. These are the most common arguments why the people or clients think that we don't need this coverage because we have other product, we have professional indemnity, crime, property, whatever. There is no other product or no similar product as the cyber edge, because cyber edge is a combination of the third-party cover, first-party cover, business interruption. Is a mix of a lot of products. The second very common is that we are not in the same regulation as the US companies. We don't need it. As I told before, there are a lot of examples, a lot of fines and penalties from the local regulatory, and these penalties we definitely can expect will increase. We don't need insurance because we have the perfect IT solution. I think that it's true if I can say that there is no 100% IT solution. The hackers, the bad guys, will be still one step ahead of us. And the cyber product is not just about the hackers, about the IT. It's about the errors and omissions, because we are human beings. It's just about the people's mistakes. We are too small, or our data is not so interested for the hackers. I will skip these 2 points, and I will come back on the next slide, because I have some statistic for these 2 points. Cost of resolving the data are low. For example, in Czech Republic, we have last year, when we launched this product, we have a week when every day there was some attack on some part of the business. First day it was media, then internet providers, then telecom, then banks. It was every day. The media call it Black Week of the Czech internet. And in the end, there was no loss or no breach or no damage to any client. It was just let's say the DDoS attack. But this Black Week of Czech internet cost around $500,000 US just to restore the systems. And what was quite funny was because this Black Week of internet was just 1 week after when we launched the cyber edge on the Czech market. So some client called us and said that this is our PR strategy. Of course it wasn't, it was just an accident. Insurance is too expensive. It can be expensive, but it can be also cheaper. Let's say we have some kind of quote pad, we call it quote pad. It's a predefined tool when you have a fixed premium and fixed limit of liability, and we start with premium 1,000 euros. And also because the product has a 6-section A to F, you can manage it. You can focus on a section A because I'm afraid, for example, that somebody can lose my data. Another company can be afraid of the fines and penalties. So you can manage it according to your needs. That means that the premium in the end could be not so high as you can expect it at the beginning. Our data is stored at a third-party center, let's say some subcontractors. Well, it's very common that if we talk with companies and we have this answer that they have data on some subcontractors, they don't know what are the protection on those servers, on those subcontractors. They just said it should be good, but we don't know. So that's first thing. And a second, under our product, we can also cover these subcontractors. So they are also insured. I'll never had a cyber breach, so I don't need it. I think we saw a lot of examples in the previous presentations, and we definitely can expect that cyber attacks will not just disappear. I think we can expect that it will be even more higher and more frequent, because it's not so sophisticated to do some, let's say, DDoS attack. Every kid can do it and then can write to the Facebook, look what I did. It's not so tricky. Let's go to some statistic numbers. In the previous slide, I told you that there are 2 points that people think that we are too small or our company doesn't hold any interesting data. You can see that more than 70% of the data breach was made against the companies with employees up to 100, which means it was the middle and the small-sized companies. 96% of attacks, not high to do. And 97%, it was mentioned in the presentation before, we can avoid with just a better protection, better risk management. So what's our appetite? The product is called Cyber Edge, but it's not just for the IT companies, and it's not just for the financial institution, for banks, for insurance companies. We can easily say that it's for all the companies who hold any third-party information on data. So nowadays, it can be everyone. Online shops, bookmakers, hotels, healthcare. We have a lot of examples when the hospitals lose the patient's data. They have no claim against the hospital, but they suffer a huge fine from the local Czech authority because they were unable to hold the data.